everybody wants to know.
Yeah.
Why do you make such few films?
I would say to filmmakers who constantly make films, like, okay, so you die. If you give everything that you have to every film that you do, and it might fail, it might be terrible, but you've got to try.
True.
And it becomes tough. And now it's becoming tougher because I made a decision some time ago that I won't do anything unless it has more than commercial value. Okay. It has to have commercial value, obviously, otherwise nobody's going to give me money to make a film. But it has to have more than commercial value. It has to be, it sounds stupid, but it has to be somewhere. Art, the conflict that I face myself is art, the conscience of society, as I keep saying, can at least question society?
True.
Can it at least raise valid questions? Now you want to fall in love and raise valid questions about love at the same time? That's tough. So that's why I make fewer films.
So getting back to the question, how does an affluent international director understand something like water scarcity, which is such a third world problem?
I live in Bombay.
Yeah, but we get water in our buildings. It's
Look, in Delhi when I was a kid, I still remember, like, which one of you has not experienced having to fill buckets at 5 a.m. because water was running out? Tell me. I keep getting asked this question and they're saying, oh my God, how do you know that? And I'm saying, 99% of India lives in water stress situations. You know where Amitabh Bachchan lives? How many don't know? Right. Do you know that across that house is a slum called Nehru Nagar?
Yes.
You walk into Nehru Nagar and there are big posters of Amitabh and Aishwarya, right? The big, huge fan club in there. The water comes there in a tanker.
Oh.
In that slum. And I've seen women and little girls line up for 2 hours waiting for the water. And then when the tanker comes, it's not from the municipality, it's from the local thugs. And they pay about 1,000 times more than we do from the things for half a bucket of water. And then they're pushed and beaten and they fight. Across the road, it's the most beautiful woman in the world who needs to have a shower whenever she wants. So, how can you not? The only way you would not know these things is by being not aware. So that's what I'm saying. I can either spend my life making inconsequential films, or I could spend my life being aware. And awareness is a constant occupation. That's what life is about. It's a constant occupation to be aware. Because the moment you do not become aware, then you become insensitive, then you become closed within your own walls, and then you do inconsequential things, making inconsequential wealth, traveling inconsequentially. That was clever. Okay.
When you were supposed to make this film several years ago, there was Vivek Oberoi you had signed, subsequently...
I didn't sign anybody. I never had money to sign anyone.
Okay, but for quite some time he was supposed to be your...
He used to live across the road and we used to drop in. So any actor that came that was nice to me, I said, when I make the film, maybe if I take you, I'll get the money. Come on, that's what filmmakers do. How else do you think you make a film? You rope in, as the press says, now he roped in so-and-so. I'm always amused at this, like me going around with a lasso. Hrithik Roshan is running away and we go, hey, come back, you know. Rope him in. It's just such an amusing expression. So you rope him in.
Which brings me to the question, what's common between Vivek Oberoi, Hrithik Roshan and now Sushant Singh Rajput?
Nothing. What happens is, look, when I first thought of Pani, when I first wanted to make it, it was after Bandit Queen.
Yeah.
That's when I first thought about it. I was so scared of the censor. Okay. Yeah, so I decided to put in the future. Right? Because Pani is a call for revolution. There's no two ways about it. It's a very commercial film because I know how to do that. I know how to push heartstrings. Now, do I push heartstrings for something relevant or something quite irrelevant?
Sure.
So it's definitely, when you see the film, you know what Shekhar is saying is, check out, you know, it's called for overthrowing of oppression, of economic oppression. It's worldwide.
Yeah.
So, but what happened was Elizabeth happened, and then I suddenly saw the opportunity to take it internationally. And so I rewrote it, and instead of just being India, I created a city, because of that, now we all talk about globalization as this amazing thing.
Yeah.
So it's a film also about 15% of the people that enjoy the fruits of globalization at the cost of 85% who support that globalization without getting anything from it.
Yeah.
So the whole construction and design of Pani is like that. But the script kept evolving, and so then the actors and the characters that I need to service that script, to service that idea. I wasn't making a film saying, chalo yaar, isko lo ek film banate. I was making a film in which the characters keep evolving. That serviced this idea of calling for a revolution.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the ideas keep changing.
Okay. You know, if you look at the films that you've made, there was that innocence of Masoom, then there was the fun in Mr. India, there was the gritty, hard reality in Bandit Queen, and there was, of course, a historical relevance of the two Elizabeth films. What would you say is a Shekhar Kapur film, if you had to define it like? You know, you've jumped over so many genres all the time.
Well, it keeps you interested. Traveling to the same place each time is not so interesting.
Yeah.
Creativity is not something that you can conjure up at will. You can't say, chalo Ranbir ko le lo yaar, ek film aisi banao, 100 crore kar legi. You can't do that, you know. So you need something provocative.
Yeah.
You need to constantly provoke yourself.
Yeah.
So different genres are interesting provocation to your own creativity. You need something, you know, even if it's just a cup of coffee or somebody comes and says something to you, or so you need this constant sense of adventure of something else and something else and something else to keep provoking your creativity. And so for me, shifting forms is a very exciting thing to do.
True.
But that's why when everybody keeps asking me to make Mr. India 2, I say, like, I'll just make the biggest disaster in the world.
Yeah.
Because I've done it.
You know, talking of Mr. India 2, it keeps coming up in the press that there is going to be a Mr. India 2. One, obviously, as you said, you are not going to be involved with it. But do you think anybody can ever recreate a Mogambo character or go beyond Mogambo?
Yeah. Things go into legend, huh? I can tell you something. And as things go into legend, they become larger and larger in your own imagination.
Yeah.
I don't think Mr. India or Mogambo was as huge then as it is now. As a character. I mean, now he's huger than he was at that time, because it's gone into mythology. It's mythology, you know. Mogambo is Mr. India. Good God, that ages me, but never mind. Mr. India's gone into mythology, so how are you going to go out and compete with mythology?
But whatever it is, he is, like I just said, really larger than life in all our...
See, the only one thing that I do is I become the characters. Like when I did Elizabeth, I was every character in the film. And if I couldn't find the character in me, how do I know I'm going right? And then every now and again I'll jump out. I'll become the audience looking at that character. And so it's tough. You know, you're becoming Mogambo yourself, and then you're jumping out, and then you become, who are you that is watching that character? Who?
True.
And in Mr. India, I decided I was a 12-year-old kid. So constantly I would have to come back and look at this from that 12-year-old kid's point of view and say, that was a bit not funny, you know, that was not fun.
Okay, Shekhar, I know that you are a storyteller, little from hell type of things. How do you pick and choose from these hundreds of stories that you can tell?
Henry Carter Bession, when asked how he took pictures, he said, I don't take pictures. The picture takes me. Same with stories. A time comes that is beyond your own power and your own control for that story to be decided to be told. And that's not just you. Had I not walked into Rahman that day, as Rahman does most of the times with me, Shekhar, yaar, I'm asleep, don't come. Or, Shekhar, I'm busy, don't come. Had he called me and said that, I wouldn't have walked into the studio, I would not have met Adi Chopra, and maybe Pani would have been made by somebody else in Hollywood, or maybe it would not have been made.
Right.
The moment decided, that moment decided that this story should be told. And so the moment takes over, as it was everything with life.
You mentioned Rahman. So I just wanted to bring up in the context of QK. How did you get somebody as private as him to actually join hands with you on a site?
Well, he tells the story better than I do, because he said when when most of the world could not spell the word internet, Shekhar came to me one day and said, here's something, a new technology that's coming that's going to change the world. It's going to change the world. People buy your music, the way they listen to your music. And he said, I smiled because he's very indulgent towards me. Then it happened. And so when I went to him and I said, now you have to join me in this venture, he had no choice. The idea of taking structure away. I have a thing about structures. I have a thing about structures because structures effectively stop the flow of life, and the only way they can survive is by creating inertia. What the internet was doing, I could see, was sucking inertia out of the system. And the moment you suck inertia out of the system, you have far greater change. And change is creative.
Tell me, how has your fan mail changed over the years, from the time you were an actor?
Fan mail.
Fan mail, to the films that you made, to...
Yeah, I get less young girls now sending me letters in blood.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's so sad. Sorry. I'm so sorry about that.
I know, it's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
No. All that's gone. Now they're like scared. I don't know why. Anyway, do I look scary? Right.
You know, you've traveled the world talking otherwise too. You've traveled a lot. What would you say you have gained from your travels?
Adventure. There's nothing else. If you are trying to gain something and add it to the bank account of experience or gain, it's going to burden you.
Okay.
You have to let it go. In order to gain more, in order to get more experience, you have to let that one go. It's like falling in love, right? Okay, I've fallen in love 10 times before. I've had 10 relationships. Now, you are the most beautiful person I ever met. I'm going to have a relationship with you in the context of 10 other relationships. You can't do that.
You can't do that. Yeah.
So it's the same with life. It's the same with adventure. It's the same with experience.
You know, recently a film called Grand Masti released. It's an adult sex comedy.
Okay.
Made lots and lots of money. So, what I want to know is, do you consider such film cinema? Is it cinema?
Look, you take a camera and follow an ant, you probably come to great cinema. Yeah, I mean, like, it's a meditative idea. So maybe in making a film like that again and again and again, they'll come to some meditative idea. But not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. But I know I've got a tweet waiting. I'll say it now. When it gets to 100 crores, I'm going to ask all the media that celebrates, a film made 100 crores, saying, and so did Grand Masti. And that would be like, okay, Karan, your film made 100 crores. Yes! So did Grand Masti. It's a great benchmark, isn't it? Now, no longer this celebration of the 100 crore club will have to include in it Grand Masti, right?
True, absolutely. Okay, I was asking about Masoom, Mr. India, where you had kids and you handled them so beautifully. They came through so well in your films. Has that experience helped you as a father? Being with kids, treating them the way you did?
I was like saying that my daughter and I share a relationship based on my experience of those kids. It's not true at all. She's such an individual. I just, on the way, texted her trying to be the cool dad, right? So I said, what's up? What's up? So she said, who is that? So I called her and I said, "Hey kiddo, what's up?" I said, "Daddy, you're scaring the hell out of me." I said, "But I'm trying to be a cool dad." And she said, "I'd rather you didn't." So nothing, there is no experience that can help you be a father. Not a single one, except constantly realigning yourself, constantly finding out. Yeah, I was like, "Hey, what's up, kiddo?" "Dad, just be your age."
Oh my God. Be your
Right.
age is,
Huh?
be your age is a bit,
Yeah. Well, she didn't quite say that. She's a bit scared to say that. I might start crying. Okay.
What made you return to television with Pradhan Mantri?
You need some cash.
Oh,
Honestly, I didn't think anybody would see the show.
but it's very popular.
I was surprised. I didn't think anybody would see the show. I thought, who's going to see a show about Indian politics? So I'll make some cash, nobody will see the show, and I'll be happy. Otherwise, I would have to go do a commercial or something like that, which I don't like to do. And I say, "Arey Shekhar Kapur ne dekho kitni buri cheez banai." Yeah. But when I started to shoot it, as usual, I can't do anything without getting completely involved with it. So I got complete. So they said, "Why, God, look at this involvement. We thought you were just going to be an anchor." And I said, "Yeah, I don't know how else to do anything."
Yeah.
How do you do anything unless you... I have friends who say, "Shekhar, to ghus jata hai." Tum... Bonnie Kapoor used to tell me, "Mr. India, yeah, to scene mein ghus jata hai." I said, "What else? Bonnie, मैं क्या करूं?" हाँ, ये भी सही है. Otherwise you'll say, "तू घुसता ही नहीं." So you get involved and it just evolved. I am really surprised how successful it is. Pleasantly, happily surprised. And it drives me now. No, but when I first signed on to it, I thought, yeah, it's just something I'll do and make a little cash on the side. I'm still making a little cash on the side. But I had no idea it would have this kind of impact. It's just huge. So, and I get all the credit for it. I just go and say a few things and get a little emotional about it. And I actually did break down when I was talking about Nehru. And everybody said, "Oh, you built it up." No, I didn't. It was a natural reaction that came out. But I enjoy it, and it's hugely successful, and I'm so glad.